Welcome back to the Fixed Ops Roundtable. I'm Sarah Vantine here with Ted Ings. Today we have Skaivision with us, Ashleigh Norton, VP of Marketing, and Ryan Westling of Team Automotive Group. And Ted, exciting conversations ahead about how Skaivision has really made a difference with this business.
I'm looking forward to it, Sarah. Skaivision is definitely leaving a major mark on the industry. Ashleigh, welcome back. And Ryan Westling from Team Automotive Group in Ohio, welcome to the Fixed Ops Roundtable.
Thank you for having me.
Well, thank you both. Okay. So want to get a little color on all of this. First of all, Ryan, how did you first get introduced to Skaivision, and what made you open to testing it? I know you've got a couple franchises there in Steubenville, Ohio.
About a year and a half ago, I'm part of the TXM advisory board through Toyota, and Mark from Skaivision came in and did a presentation for us, which really impressed me just for the fact that, I am a TXM dealer, which is with the Toyota Express Maintenance, and the whole timing thing and everything to get people out from under an hour. And where my location, and I've got a little bit of separation of church and state when it comes to where I'm at, because my Toyota store, my actual drive's about 100 yards from my shop. So to get a car written up, walked around, everything properly, staged, and get through the shop, it was rough. We were running an hour 15, hour 20 minutes, and it was hard to put your finger on exactly what was going on. And I was talking to another dealer that was working with this out of the SET region, and he was telling me all this success. So Toyota and TXM asked if anybody wanted to pilot this Skaivision, and my hand was right up. I'm like, me, I want it. And they came in and said, it's a little process because you got to make sure your cameras are in place and everything. And I'm telling you, it's an unbelievable thing how you can sit in your office and figure out what your bottlenecks are with this software. Yep. It has so many different capabilities to do it. And so I was on board with it. I was like, I'm going to get these guys under an hour. So it was, I'm glad I stepped up for that.
Yeah. And what Ryan's describing there is kind of where we see the gains, is just small operational tweaks where they might be process gaps, or most stores don't lack a process, they just lack visibility. So it can be hard to identify without actually being able to see that flow consistently.
It's so true, Ashleigh and Ryan. The TXM program with Toyota, I mean, it's really, again, customers have the expectations. They want to get their service and their vehicle in and out as quickly as possible, especially when it comes to their maintenance. So for those that may not be as familiar with it, can you explain what the TXM program is and what it takes for a store to meet the standard?
The TXM program, Toyota really dove into it when they came up with this program. And it's a two-man express team. And each guy has his certain jobs. And it's a script. It's almost like a dance whenever they pull the car into the lane. And they have to sit back. You have an A tech and a B tech. And, one guy's racking the cars. One guy's under the hood checking the fluids and checking the battery. One guy's checking the cabin filters. One guy's rotating the tires. And it's just an unbelievable program to have. When it comes down to it, I'll just give you some quick numbers. As I said, before I got on it, on the advisory board and everything, we were an hour and 20 minutes for an oil change rotate and a multi-point. I can get a dry car out, what is just, because Toyota does theirs every 10,000 miles, with a rotate and a full multi-point inspection under 20 minutes. I can do a wet, where we're doing the oil change and everything with it. I can have it on and off the rack in 20 minutes now with a full inspection.
Wow.
So, but with Skaivision helped me realize all my other bottlenecks with the situation. But they have coaches that come in and work with your technicians. I have 2 times a year, I have actual coaches from Toyota come in. They work with my technicians that train them, because you're always getting new guys. We've been in this business a while, so we know there's a little bit of a rotation in the door when it comes to employees, especially in that express area. But they train your technicians to do that dance to make sure that everything's done and nothing's forgotten, which is crazy because one tech knows what the other tech's doing and they're calling things out. I got the tires done, they're mounted, the inspection's done, they're calling measurements out. It's an unbelievable program.
Ashleigh, this really sounds to me, I'm just visualizing what Ryan is describing. And again, those bottlenecks. I mean, this sounds like the operational efficiency that a pit crew at NASCAR is working through to get, every single minute matters. And Ted, it's all about the hours, as Tully Williams says. So Ashleigh, this is incredible. How did Skaivision first get partnered with the TXM program?
So TXM heard about us through a couple of stores, or Toyota heard about us through a couple of stores that had been putting it in place. And they already have the standard, right? TXM is defining the standard of excellence. And Skaivision is helping them deliver it consistently.
Well, I'm curious, Ryan, when you look at your service lane on a typical day, a weekday like today, where do you see the biggest opportunities to improve speed and even more important, I guess, consistency as well?
Honestly, a few things that we know, just to give it a head back to where we were bottlenecking in our system, with the lane which you're talking about, I realized I was short-staffed, and I realized that my advisors couldn't meet the expectations that I was giving them because they were overwhelmed. So the first thing that, we fixed, because we have cameras in the lane and it monitors them and it does a time for me. So if I say, I want a customer to be greeted within 2 minutes, if it's not 2 minutes being greeted, I get an alert on the system. Or if I have an advisor that doesn't do a walk around on the car, I get an alert. So the biggest thing that you can see is if you're overstaffed or staffed when it comes up there. I was understaffed. Once I started using that fixed my first bottleneck. And that's something I couldn't see until I was watching it. And the timers that Skaivision gives us was letting me know, hey, Ryan, you've got 10 cars that the customer didn't get greeted until 4 minutes. I'd walk up, talk to my advisor. They'd say, go back to the cameras and watch what we were doing. Okay. So we had an additional advisor in the mix. And guess what? We were under my 2 minute mark.
I've always said the advisor role is one of the hardest in the dealership, and not being able to deliver on the expectations is typically not even their fault. It's just that the expectations are there. We do a little bit of math. We decide how we're going to staff, and then we expect it to deliver.
Mm-hmm.
It's so true, Ashleigh. And Ryan, in thinking about your operation, Toyota has exceptional training programs and opportunities for learning when it comes to their service managers and their service directors. But, there's elements of this that I think it sounds like bringing Skaivision into the mix, it changed how you manage the lane day to day.
Yeah, it gave me a key. It gave me an actual key to key time. So what happens, is a customer is pulling down the ramp, it pulls like the license plate and it starts the clock right there off of my DMS system through the VIN number. So I can tell that, Mrs. Smith is coming down the ramp at 8:15. And I know that I need to get Mrs. Smith out of there before 9:15 to be under my hour.
Wow.
So it monitors step by step the process that, every place is different. So everybody's going to have different standards to put in place. And if you track your standards, you don't want to take too big of a bite, but you fix it as you go. Like the first thing we fixed was our lane.
And Ashleigh, it sounds like, for this kind of insight that Ryan's been able to gain from Skaivision, it sounds like it's very customizable to a variety of different processes and OEMs.
Well, it has to be, right? Because no two stores are alike. I was in one dealership just this last week that they have 4 different shops that have just grown because they were an old Saturn store and they've built another shop. They built another shop. They built another shop, and they have one entry point. So it has to be customizable for every store. What we do is come out, we do a site walk, see what cameras are there, what cameras are needed, and get the technical stuff all set up correctly so that we are measuring real data and we're measuring it in real time every single day. And then when Ryan was talking about Mrs. Smith, not only are we tracking to make sure we get Mrs. Smith out of there, but we're also sending her a text to let her know, hey, do you want to trade or sell your vehicle? Here, would you like an offer? And so we started doing that about 18 months ago, and that's really taken off as well.
That's key too. I do have to say with that, so everybody knows how hard it is to buy used cars now. What's the best used cars to buy? The ones you service. So if you throw that customer an offer out, the advisor don't even know they're getting the offer. They're getting a text message. Hey, Mrs. Smith, your 2021 Corolla's in high demand. We'll offer you top dollar cash today for it. If you would like to hear our offer, just hit yes. We'll have somebody meet you in the lounge.
Oh, wow.
So I think last month, we ended up getting 8 cars through the lane just out of my Toyota store.
Wow.
How much did that save us? One, going to the auction, not knowing what we're getting. 2, we're buying 8 cars that we just had through our shop.
I think
and how many of those were traded for another car?
Yeah.
And Ryan, I wanted you to share your story about last Friday and the number of hours you were able to run through a 2-team shop.
Oh, us fixed operations managers, service managers or directors, whoever, the one thing that we always key on is unapplied time, and that thing we always go back and forth with the manufacturers on that stuff there. We've got it so fine tuned in here. And as I said, we've got a huge separation. I've got a 100-yard drive that I've got to have a driver drive the car down, stage the car before it goes to get in the express lane before my guys can pull it in. My 2-man team last Friday, did 22 hours, flat rate hours in one day. Just by following the process, it was like all the planets aligned. It was like the best. I was so excited because I run reports every day. And when I pulled up their times and my dispatcher kept telling me, he goes, you're going to be so proud of them. He goes, all 3 teams killed it. He said, but the one really killed it. And when I pulled those times, I was just ear to ear.
Don't tell them they're good enough to be on a pit crew. You'll lose them.
No, I don't ever want to tell them that. I did buy them lunch though. So
Ryan, give us some color also. How many techs in your shop? Tell us about.
I've got a combined shop right now. I've got 9 Toyota technicians right now. Okay. I've got 2 2-man teams on the Toyota side. I've got 2 2-man teams on the Ford side. So we share a shop, but I've got 29 bays total throughout my dealership. So on my Ford side, we've got 20. I mean, we're running very tight when it comes to bay space. So to get these cars in and off the racks, it's ideal. It's actually given me the opportunity, and I know this is going to be a big forbidden thing that the guys don't want to hear, is I push anything that comes through the shop through my express lanes that have an oil change. So if I've got an oil change rotate and a check engine light, they actually go through my express lanes before they hit the shop. Wow. Because my guys are so confident in the process that these guys are going that they know they're going to give them a good multi-point, which in turn, if you're a flat rate technician and you don't want to do the oil change rotate, but you want to do that brake job or that ball joint on that tie rod end that comes over. And I couldn't have done this without Skaivision, just to be honest with you. I couldn't have grown the shop and ran it so tight without them because they're showing me my bottlenecks.
Wow. You're seeing a big impact. And just the stories and the feedback you're giving us right now is amazing. Also, I would imagine in the metrics that TXM is tracking and overall lane performance, you're seeing a big update.
Overall lane performance, I think their standards at like 75% under an hour when it comes to it. We're at 88%. So we're at like the top when it comes to it. We're not 100% perfect. Don't get me wrong. I'd love to be 100% perfect, but 88, I'll take it, when it comes to it.
It's incredible stuff, Ryan, to hear just the success stories that you're having. And Ashleigh, I mean, this is incredible stuff with Skaivision. Ryan, in just kind of our final moments, for other dealers working towards excellence in express and service operations, what would you tell them about what it actually takes to hit these standards consistently?
Honestly, just paying attention. If you pay attention to this, and don't get wrong, if you do get on Skaivision, that first month, you're going to get a lot of alerts because you've got your staging area alerts, you've got your lane alerts, but as I said, if you start taking one at a time, because my phone was going off, I think the first day I ended up getting 105 alerts. And I'm like, oh my gosh, what am I going to do? So I took the biggest one, which my lane fixed it. Second biggest one, which my techs really love, is I put a camera in my parts department, which oversees the tech counter. So if I have a technician there for 5 minutes, it's alerting me, the parts manager, and the dispatcher, hey, and they know I'm gonna run back there and be like, hey, what are we doing? This isn't the water cooler. Why need your hands on the car? And the guy sort of chuckled and stuff at first, but I'm telling you, I may have had one alert today. Wow. It's taken us a little bit of time, but if you truly just take off little bites here and there, fix your lane, fix your staging area, fix those things at first, and then work with your technicians, how to do the proper inspections in the 2-man teams, making sure your parts are available. We went through the whole fact where all my fast moving parts are right inside my parts department. They only have to wait on a parts guy to get them. As soon as they see them pull them, they're billing them right off the bat. They only have to go. So, but it's something where you have to have a little bit of patience. But if you give this system a little bit of patience, I'm telling you, your business will grow tenfold.
Ashleigh, it sounds like process and execution, along with Skaivision, being that eye in the sky, really is the secret to success here.
Yep, exactly. You and I have spent years on process and execution in the automotive industry. So I think camera vision AI is just it's the next thing.
Ryan, fascinating information. Okay. And it's great how this technology is helping us because it's putting literally eyes on the entire process, and you get to see things from your office. Okay. What's happening out there and address those bottlenecks. So congratulations too. I'm looking forward to hearing more from you, as the year goes on.
Listen, I love it. And the greatest thing about it is when how they always say when dad's out, the kids will play. Well, dad's got his phone. The alerts go to my phone. So if I'm in a meeting, I've been on the text going, why do we have a car stage for 15 minutes?
I love it. Cool. I love it. Sarah, great stuff.
An amazing panel with Ryan Westling and Ashleigh Norton. Ashleigh, for our audience today, if they want to learn more about what Skaivision can do for them, what's the best first step?
You can go to skaivision.com. You can book a demo right from there. You can email me directly or call the sales line or call my cell phone. It's on my LinkedIn. You can reach me anywhere.
All right. Great news. Ryan Westling, thank you so much for your time today.
Thank you, Ryan.
Thank you so much for having me.
And Ashleigh, thank you for bringing Ryan on the show and telling us the great strides that Skaivision is making out in the real world, right? So,
yes.
Yep.
Thank you.
For more information, everybody, you can reach out to Ashleigh and her team at Skaivision. You can see the URL at the bottom, skaivision.com. Ashleigh's email is at the bottom of the screen. They're very responsive and they'll answer questions. Many dealers will have questions that how this apply to their facility. And Ashleigh, great information. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
Everybody, Ryan Westling and Ashleigh Norton, Skaivision here today at the Fixed Ops Roundtable.